hear you.
Fantastic. Nice to have you here. I love it that you joined on time. And it will be, I believe it will be a very good time spent together, learning from one another. So we'll just give a few minutes, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and we'll start. I like to start things on time. And the others would meet us as they sign on. Let's just give 2, 3 minutes to allow others to join in. Thank you for coming. Hi, Okwe. Okay, so let's still just wait a while. Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for signing on. We're just giving a few minutes to allow others to join in. I'm glad. Thank you for being one of the first people to sign on. I like to join meetings too on time. Welcome, Ronke Oniyelu. Welcome, Okwe Olaniyi, Okpeyemi Olaniyi. Welcome, Folukemi Abudu. Thank you for being here. And I just said that we'll give, this is 11:02. We'll start by 11:05. So
good morning, ma.
And then we are, good morning. Nice to have you. So by 11, in another 3 minutes, start, and then others will join us as we go. So thank you for signing on early too. And I would like it to be an interactive session. So I'll give some time for us to interact, and I hope that, yes, we can interact at that time. Ruth Oyebanji, thank you for signing on. Great to have you here. Thank you that you signed on time. A few people that know me, and I know some of these names, know that I like to start things on time. I join meetings on time. I like to start on time too. But let's just give 3 more minutes. It's still 11:02, 11:03 now, so 2 more minutes. And the others will join us as we continue. Welcome, Mayowa Oluwaniyi. Nice to have you here. It's going to be a very good session. Thank you for signing up on time. Thank you for logging on time, and it's good to have you here. Welcome to Millennial, my lovely one. Thank you for signing on. It's good to have you in the room. And yes, my co-host is there. Fantastic. So, Tolua Lope, please make the co-host, make the speaker, co-speaker a co-host so that she can also. Thank you, my co-speaker, for joining in. Nice to have you here. It's great that you are here too. So we have a few more minutes, just 1 more minute, and then we will start. We will start. Okay, it's 11:04. We'll start in a minute. And thank you that at least we have quite a number of people that have signed on. And I can't wait for us to go on. So this will be a good time. Remember that we would like to make it interactive. And when we start, we'll say if you have any questions also, post it in the chat room. and at some point, if you need to speak, then we would allow you. Welcome, Titilayo Adelaja. It's nice to have you here. Thank you very much for taking out this Saturday time to be here. Thank you so much. Okay, it's 11:05. Yay, it's time for this webinar that I've looked so much forward to. Parenting, raising kids today. Are you doing it right? Yes, and I'm Susan Tayo, like, of course, a lot of you know. And I hope that you can see my slides well. So if you are already in the room, kindly put in the chat room where you are logging on from. I've seen that some people registered logging on from Canada, some from US, some from Ghana, from different parts of the world. The Canada, US, I was wondering how they'll make it because this is really, really early for them. So please put in the chat room where you're logging on from, and then we'll thank you so much for coming in at this time. Thank you. And let me put something out here. I'm sure a lot of us know how internet has been so unstable. So having this meeting, I had to I had MTN at the modem, and then I went to get Airtel, just to see. But just in case, I have prayed that I won't be locked out, but just in case, I have people in the room who would continue the meeting and would have a good time. It's part of being in this part of the world, right? And it also happens in different places sometimes, not like us. But just in case I'm locked out, it's okay. It's a sign of the times, but I'll immediately connect to my other network and come back into the room. And between that time, we can continue to interact. And I have Tolua Lopetayo there and my co-speaker, Olorun Tobi Adebola, who would also be here. Hopefully we're not logged out at the same time. I hope we're not even logged out at all. I actually prayed for everybody logging on to have stable internet also so that nobody is thrown out. So thank you, yes. So I'll do an introduction of myself, and then I would allow my co-speaker to also introduce herself. So my name is Susan Tayo. I'm a fellow chartered accountant. When I say fellow chartered accountant, I'm talking old school. I must have become a chartered accountant. I was thinking about it 36 years ago. Wow, imagine. I'm a member of Nigerian Institute of Management. I'm an associate member of Chartered Institute of Taxation. And I had my BSc in Finance and Accounting from the then University of Ife, now OAU. Now, these things is just bragging right. They don't qualify me to speak with you. What qualifies me more? I've been married 31 years plus, to be 32 years this year, but I feel 35, I have 4 lovely adults, they're children. I said Happy Children's Day to them the other time. I think only 2 of them responded. They're still children, right? They're my children. So I have the first one, a female. She's 30, doing big things. Thank God for her. She's married. That's why I have +1. Then I have a male after her. He's 29. He's not married. He's doing okay. And then I have the female, my younger female. She's 27, and I put +2 there because she's married. And yeah, I have a granddaughter. It's so exciting. Sometimes I have to remind myself, Susan, you're a grandmother. And then I have my youngest. He's a male doing amazing things too. He's 25. This qualifies me more to speak with you today. From here, you could see that I have 3 millennials in the group. And yes, what other thing qualifies me? I became passionate about parenting. Well, I started parenting. When I got to those years where I discovered parenting is not instinctive, it's actually learned. It's learned. I didn't know myself. I thought you just grow up and then you have children, you parent them. And my own mind, I thank God for that journey because I started to learn and learn, relearn, unlearn. There's some things that I had learned before, I had to unlearn, right? And some things I had to relearn. And then, of course, I told I'm a chartered accountant. After spending more than 2 decades in the financial sector, in the 9-to-5 sector. You can't say 9 to 5. I probably was working 8 to 8 and working weekends. But anyway, because I started as a chartered accountant, I still decided to go for some certifications, bragging rights. You can see some of those certificates there. And that is why I can sit today. And we're still going to share together. Nobody has all the knowledge, but these are things I had to do. So welcome again. And I would like my co-speaker, popularly known and fondly known as Auntie Toby. I wanted to put Auntie, but I think Auntie is Yoruba, right? To introduce herself. Auntie Toby, are you there? Please introduce yourself.
I am. Good morning, everyone.
Fantastic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Yay! I made it. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. It's nice to be here. My name is Oloruntobi Adebola. But Auntie Susan is right. So I call her Auntie Susan. Please excuse me. Auntie Susan knows me as Auntie Toby because of the teenagers that I have anchored and worked with for, I don't know, I was trying to do the math. It must be upwards of 13 years. I've been coordinating a teens church for the past 13 years in my church. I will leave the name out of this space just so that we can connect at that level. But
okay,
I'm a lawyer.
Can you hear me? Is it my connection or it's Auntie Toby's connection? Can we hear me? Please, somebody.
I can hear you. Can't you hear me?
Okay, so you went off for a bit there. So continue. We can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So please let me know if I go off because it looks like I'm just talking. I didn't know that I was off. So my name is Oloruntobi Adebola. I'm a lawyer during the week, and weekends I'm a teens teacher. And then, like I said, I've been a teens teacher for more than 13 years, working with different generations. And what the teenagers say is that, every year seems to get better. The ones that went last year would come in and say, oh, you're adding X and Y. And that's because in life, we make progress as we go on. I'm happy to be here. I told Auntie Susan that I came in to share my experiences with the teenagers. They're between the ages of 13 to 16. So that's my niche. But you need to understand that I think that those are about the most difficult. I'm now learning that they're about the one, because they're just moving. Yes, they're adults in their minds, but you and I know that they are not adults as adults properly so called. So all the issues come at this point. And of course, we have them at the point where they are about moving into the uni. So all of those changes are bound to be problematic. So I'm here from the practitioner's point of view. Auntie Susan is the one with the laurels. I'm here with my stories, and I'm happy to share. And I look forward to speaking after she has had her stint. Thank you, Auntie Susan. Please take it from here.
Thank you, Auntie Toby. Auntie Toby is doing phenomenal things with the teenagers. In as much as I say I'm a lover of people, I love teenagers. It's easier said than done, right? Especially when you have different ones, but she's doing amazing things with them. And I'm glad that she's here to join us. So we'll give enough time, hopefully at some time, that she will just share some experiences. So yeah, let's dive into it. We said, who is a millennial? We said raising kids today. Are you doing it right? A guide for the millennial parent. Fantastic. The millennial, you can see born. So when you check different research records, they give the dates are a bit different, but the average day, the average year is 1981 to 1996. Some will say up till 1999. Some will say up till 1998, but I found one who said up till, I think 1997, 1998, 1999, but this is a more general one, which means a millennial. And please type in the chat room, are you a millennial? So were you born between the year 1981 and 1996? Are you a millennial, or you are a Generation X like me? So a background, we had the traditionalists. That's my parents. They're between 1922 and 1945. I mean, usually the gap in generations are about 15, but this is a lot, right? And then we had the baby boomers after them, 1946 to 1964, right? Most of my older siblings, in fact, all my older siblings fall in that range. Then we had the Generation X from 1965 to 1980. I am 1966, so I'm just falling to the Generation X. And then we had the millennials that we're talking about 1981 to 1996, and followed closely at the Gen Z. Millennials are also Generation Y, but I love the name millennials anyway. Then the Gen Zs are from 1997 to 2012. Like I said, some will say 1999, some will say even 2000. And then you have the Gen Alpha, the ones just coming. Some say from 2011, some say from 2012, some say from 2013 to 2025. So the millennials are having parents already. I mean, 28, 43 years. Some of them already have teenagers. Some are already having the Gen Alpha. Some are becoming parents also. And is it the same way? Are we going to continue the way we have been parenting? That is what we're looking at today. And because we talked about millennials, I thought, isn't it good to even discuss a bit about who the millennials, what makes a millennial a millennial? So, or the Gen Y, Generation Y, the Generation Y. I hope you are typing in the chat room. I will stop at some point in time and see if we have some chats. So the millennials are tech savvy, comfortable with technology, you know, both for professional and personal use. Gen X, when we came, in fact, it was only, you needed to be middle class at least to have those old Nitel phones, you know, that are dial-up. So you put your hand in zero and then you bring it all the way. And you are lucky if you have that in your house. Nitel office, we had some, you know, cubicles there where you could make calls. I think I've gone to queue there sometime. And it was in 2001. So coming up, there were these big mobile phones, you know, that our general now will carry then. Yes, I have arrived, but I don't think they were so efficient. I mean, I had jobs in big organizations. I was working as a chartered accountant, so I was usually high up, but I didn't have access to any of those things because they were not efficient. But I remember 2001, yes, MTN said, it was Airtel actually, Econet then, said commercial, and then fortunately, I was on the island and there was a mobile store very close to us. But then something happened to Econet and then MTN launched a week and was the first to sell the commercial line. Of course, that day I ran to get and I could hold the phone. And imagine how old I was, 2001, 1966. But you see, the millennial then, in 2001, the youngest millennial was 5 years old. Some were already 20. And because they're younger, they learned to use this technology. So the second point is flexibility and adaptability. Because they were part of the old, they saw some of the old and they came into the new. So they're comfortable either way. They can easily adapt. You can't say so much for the Gen Z. And then collaboration and community, right? The coming of tech actually allowed a lot of those things. So in my time, we didn't even have Google. What is Google? We didn't even have internet, you know, when I was that age. There was something like that. You needed to go to books, go to library. If you want to do research, you carry book, you mark book. It's interesting how the world has come. I was chatting with AI yesterday, and it was just chatting with me like a human being. I was just laughing. I said, wow. The Gen Alpha will not even be able to understand what happened before we got here. You know, so, but with the technology, now they could even discover people in their community, either online, have online communities, or just meet them and then have physical, you know, meetings, which is, we were just locally, wherever you were in Kaduna, you could not even be doing anything with somebody in Lagos or thereabouts. Now, value experiences over material possessions. This was interesting to me. But then I kind of thought of my children and I said, wow, because it said that they like to travel, they like to dine out, they like entertainment, right? They like just, you know, boat cruise, things like that, rather than just buying houses, buying the biggest cars. Even when they buy cars, they also enjoy these experiences. My time, you grow up, you go to school, you go to university if you're very smart, and then you start working. If you're a lady, you stay in your parents' house until someone comes to marry you. If you're a man, you stay in your parents' house until you can rent a place. And then when you begin to make little money, you start to buy land. So it was the possession, like buy land, buy car, but it changed with the millennials. Entrepreneurial spirit influential in the workplace. Yes, because the tech had come, you could easily access information. And during my time, so I'll be comparing my time a lot so that you see the differences. It's you want to read medicine, you want to read accounting, you want to read engineering, you want to read, you want to be a lawyer. I mean, your parents were proud if you did any of those. But here, with the coming of technology, it became a global world. So it was easy to say, oh, no, I want to be a musician. Oh, no, it started from the millennials, actually. Oh, no, I want to be a fashion designer. I mean, they had some fight with the Generation X parents, but still, I mean, they were the ones that actually cut out of that. Oh, no, what I want to do is coding. You find people coding without even having gone to school at all, right? So you can now take courses. You can research on what you want. Then education and lifelong learning. Yes, internet. You can have courses, short-term courses. And you see, because they're a bridge between the old and the new, they're okay in the class and they're okay when it is online. Sustainability and environmental awareness. Yes, that is true. And so I was trying to remember the name of this lady who won an award for global warming. I mean, because there was no information, you could see what was happening in other parts of the world. And so, of course, they learn easily about that. Diversity and inclusivity, they're more open-minded. So the way we were brought up, we were much more close-minded. Your parents' values matters. So when in fact, when I was younger, I laugh now. If I see somebody who had too much makeup, I kind of run the other way because in my mind, I'm already judging the person. Interesting, right? But because that was the little I knew. That was the world I grew up in. Throughout university, I don't think I used white powder and Vaseline all through, but things changed. And so it was, while my children were growing up, that I'll normally just say, girl is fat, that woman is fat. And my daughter, especially the first one, will say, no, mommy, she is plus size. And you can't just speak anyhow. What do you know about body shaming? There was not like body shaming. But here, I mean, whatever their preferences, whether religious preferences and all that, you can include everybody and be open-minded because it was now more of a global world. Yeah. After this characteristics, then we would have some time to chat together. And I can see that there's some things in the chat room. I'll be visiting the chat room soon. So I say the parents now are millennials. The children are either Gen Zs or Alpha, because if they're 43 and they had a child at 20, which is quite early, that's the older millennial, that is still a Gen Z. The Gen Zs are about 27 now. They're actually becoming parents. Imagine, they're becoming parents. Interesting. So yes, I just wanted a little difference between the millennials and the Gen Zs. There's this fight like, what do you think you know? I know all this. I mean, I couldn't really fight that with the children because our times were really different. And initially, I will buy a gadget and I will read the manual. I'll sit with it, page in, page out, until I discover my children will carry it even without reading the manual, and they're done in 5 minutes. And so I said, why am I even bothering myself? Just buy something and give it to the children and set it up for me. So technology, so the millennials adopted technology later in life, but the Gen Zs are the first digitally native generation. Some places they'll tell you millennials are digitally native, but the Gen Zs are the one that grew into this technology. They don't know anything. I mean, now you can give a 6-month-old baby a phone and you see the baby scrolling, you ask, did they learn it from the womb? And a 2-year is so easy. I mean, just uses the phone like a pro. And then social media, it was the millennials that started up the social media thing. And but then the Gen Zs came and they preferred newer platforms like TikTok, Snapchat, Now you had the picture thing, you could go to, I think during the millennials, you had the Facebook. I know it was so interesting that you could have your picture. Before it was just pen pal. For us, pen pal, and I think the millennials make pen pal. You write to somebody in the US and wait 2-3 months, and then the person writes back just to share their experiences. Then communication. Yeah, the millennial still does not mind extensive and detailed interaction. Like I said, they're just the bridge. But the Gen Z or Alpha, show me what you're talking about, or just put it down in concise information. If you want to preach, you've lost them. Because there's so much information all around the place, and they just want to know exactly what you want. And diversity and inclusion, I said that the millennials were diverse and inclusive. It's just that the Gen Zs and the Alphas are coming, and what they're saying is that they're similar to the Gen Zs, but they're just taking things a notch higher. You see, there's some similarities between millennial and Gen Zs too, but the Alphas are taking things a notch higher. So they are stronger on social justice and activism. Yes, the Gen Zs are there. And then education, of course, the millennials are comfortable with either the classroom or the online, but the Gen Z prefers online learning. In fact, they wonder, why must I go through the four walls of university to learn whatever I want to learn 4 years when I can learn it in 2 years? And now we're talking general traits now. There'll be exceptions to the rule, right? And you find people steal our phones, and with just a mobile number, they're able to hack into our accounts. Many of these people, you've watched videos, have not even gone to school. They're smart like that, You'd be wondering, how did this one coding? And they didn't even have to go through the four walls of university. And yes, the Gen Zs are more passionate about entrepreneurship because there's so much to do now, work ethic, sustainability, mental health, because they hear this all of the time, right? Yes, I have been talking, but I want us to discuss a bit. I have said a lot. I'm looking at the chat room. Yeah, thank you. Abuja, yes, we have Abuja here. We have somebody from Dubai. Interesting. Titila Yadilaja, you're really welcome. Thank you for joining in. Yeah, we have Tolu Lokpetayo. Thank you. Yes, she's a millennial. Yeah, that's a millennial. Some of my children are here. Fantastic. We have so many millennials here. And in the chat room now, if you have, I said those are general characteristics. So maybe there's some you are not sure about or you want to discuss, but you know that we're all different. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll allow my co-speaker to speak a bit too as soon as I go through the chat room. Fantastic. I see we have many millennials here. Oh, somebody is in the cyber cafe. Oh, I created my first email address in a cyber cafe when I was 8 years old. Wow. Interesting. Yes, because the emails came on the phone. Somebody is from Berlin here. Wow. Ronke, you are really welcome. Thank you for joining in. I know they're supposed to be from Canada, also from US, as you join in. And please type in your questions, Oh, yes. Okpayemi Aremu from Canada. Fantastic. I believe that we're going to learn a lot together here. And it will be a time worth your waking up this early to join us. Thank you for being here. So yes, questions come. My co-speaker and the co-host will let us know, and then we will talk about it. Okay, so I can't see any discussion, but can my co-speaker come in briefly here? Do you have anything to say at this point, or should we go on? Auntie Toby, since we don't have any questions in the chat room, is Auntie Toby here?
Auntie Susan, yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Is there anything that you want to mention? Maybe some of those traits that you don't really see you doing, although you may be an exception, or any other thing you'd like to say?
So, when I saw the question, I was trying to, you've been telling me, oh, Toby, a millennial. So I had to go and check. And you see, I'm borderline because I was born in 1980.
Oh, wow.
So yes,
fantastic. So you have both.
I do have both. And it was interesting to see, the characteristics of millennials yesterday, because what I did was to see what the impact was on the teenagers that I work with now. And one thing that struck out, because, so that's where we fall in. I'm sure you're 1980 as well. So we're Gen X, I think.
Gen X. Yes,
but we fall into the millennials as well. So I think, and I had heard this all this while, I didn't know that there was a categorization that would explain it. The fact that many of us, looked at our parenting, our experiences from way back, and we said to ourselves, no, I'm not going to do what my parents did. And I think that's what informed many people's idea of how to parent their children. They wanted to go as far as possible from what they saw because of their experiences. The question is, how is that working out? Because how is it working out? Unfortunately for us, we will not be able to gauge it today. It will tell in the future how that worked out. But I think there are tidbits that are, telling about the future. And those are the things to watch out for. We had an open day in my church the other day, and one of the students came up and she was talking about the fact that they were chatting in school, and they were talking about how they were going to work with their parents when they were grown. And it was almost unanimous, the fact that every parent is going to an old people's home.
Hmm.
Can
you imagine?
Thankfully, it was an open day, so the parents heard it themselves. And, it was worrisome, but it was also an indication of how closely knitted those children felt to their parents, because what would make you take care of your parents, really? What would make you, particularly if we're being honest, by the time people grow up, they're not as quick as possible, as they used to be. For the little children, maybe they talk too much, maybe they do X, they do Y. I think that the reason why parents, our parents, will stick with them is because they remember how they took care of them when they were much younger. And that's why, they will stick with all of those things. But for the children that we're having now, I don't think that they are having those loyalties. And that's worrisome. That's worrisome because at that age, you are dependent. And that reminds me of what Jesus told Peter. He said, yes, you're enjoying life now. At some point in your life, people will be taking you and taking you to holding your hands and taking you to places where you don't want to go. And I think that's the reason for this meeting, to talk about connectiveness. How are we connecting? Because even the parents that I know are really trying their best. The question is, how are the teenagers, how are the children, what are they taking away? Are they feeling as connected as you think you are? Because, at some point I kept hearing, once I'm done, and I work with people who are almost on their way out of the house. Once I leave this house, I'm gone, and all of that. I know there's a place for just talking, because, they just talk. But deep down in our hearts, we need to know whether everything that we're doing is in the best interest of the child. Because if that is the case, then when they grow up, they will see that everything we have done has been in their best interest. So I'll just stop here and allow you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Auntie Toby, for that angle. Thank you so much. We need to be connected with our children, and this is a time to do it. And how do you stay connected? Yes, I see. 1980 is Gen X, actually. Yes. So we're from 1965 to 1980, but that's just very. So I see Folakemi Abudu too, 1980. Fantastic. And I thought to myself that actually Gen X, the ones that came later, like 1980s, are actually having Gen Zs and Generation Alpha. So they should actually be here and learn. I have a Gen Z, and I'm so glad that God made me have a Gen Z, because it opened my eyes to a lot of things. Even though I thought I was a parenting pro, I discovered that there's no pro in this thing. I had to learn. So fantastic. So let's go on. So yes, now to the real thing, parenting for the millennials. So I'm sure we've heard of parenting styles, right? We already know there are different types of parenting. Some of us will know the four. There were four. Usually we had the authoritarian, authoritative, we had the permissive and uninvolved. But you see, as time goes on, we're having so many other parenting styles. And I would not want to take our time so much in discussing, but I'll just give us a one-liner. Authoritarian, tiger, I know you know what that means. It's a strict rule person. That's what we faced. The traditionalists, they knew nothing better. That's what I faced, when they were parenting. If you speak, that means you are rude. Little warmth. Well, there was some warmth in the house, and once you don't toe the line, you're punished. Now, the authoritative also holds people to high level of expectation, like the authoritarian, but then there's balance of warmth in the home. So it encourages self-expression, right? It takes the children's input. So in my growing up, and when I started learning parenting, we're told that authoritative actually gives the best results for children. And that's what I try to use parenting. But then there's a helicopter that came later. And you can see helicopter learner. Who are the helicopter parents? They're the ones that are very controlling, like the authoritarian, but then they always come and save you. They're always there to dash out. They don't allow their children face any consequences. The authoritarian, you will even be punished. The helicopter is over-involved. Whether it's in school, there's a problem, they will sit with you and do all your homework. They will ensure that you get the best grades. They don't even allow you to think. They don't allow you to problem solve and all that. And then, of course, we have the permissive, as it is, very lenient. There's a lot of warmth, though. The parent that thinks, oh, I want to be my children's best friend. It's good to be friendly with our children. Let me put that here. But you can't be their best friend, because their best friend cannot be firm at some points. The best friend can be firm and they don't have to take it. But as a parent, you still have to be firm at some point. So it's good to be friendly. So here they give the children lots of freedom. And of course, the uninvolved. I don't need to explain that. I hope that we don't have any, in fact, for the parents that are logged on here, or parents to be that are here. So I see some people saying they're millennials. Do you have children? Let's also know. What are your children? Are they Gen Z or Generation Alpha? Please put in the chat room, let's know. And if you don't even have children yet, you are here. In fact, you are the most fantastically, hope I can use that English person. Because you need to prepare for a thing before you do the thing. It's parenting that we actually become parents before we just think it's instinctive. It's when we start to have problems, we now begin to look for solutions. And then, of course, the free range is a very new one. And then the gentle. So you have other parenting styles, attachment parenting, but you see, attachment can also be part of it could be like permissive or whatever. You have the positive parenting. I think they're all just ingrained in all these other parenting styles. You have the mindful parenting. You have the holistic, consistent. I believe any parenting style, you need to be consistent. So I just listed them there because I know you can go on Google and try to say, okay, so I'll just pick the free range and the gentle parenting. They are very new. So free range, just imagine a typical village setting. That kind of setting where you have small houses, small huts, where the main road is very far from where the settlement is, where the children, you're not afraid that your child can walk to the main road and cross the main road. It encourages free range parenting. Some people even try to adopt it in more urban centers, but I'm not sure about that. So imagine those places. We have some small villages in the south and the east. I know there are lots in the east and all that. And even once the child is even crawling on the dirt ground there, and the mother is not even anywhere around, but there are neighbors that are around, and the child can walk 1.5, just has an underwear on and is moving. So in this kind of parenting, the child actually just grows up independent. They grow up, they can move anywhere they want to go. They come back home to eat. They are moving again, in groups. But they become very dependent. They learn the culture of the society. They learn the values of their family. And then they just individuate and decide on their own values. It's really free range. Free range chicken, free range cows. It's really free range. So that's a new one coming. And interestingly, some developed countries are actually saying it's better because the child becomes independent faster, becomes very self-reliant. But I think you can decide whatever parenting style you want, but we'll discuss the ones that give you the best output at the end of the day. That's what we want anyway, So now, gentle parenting. We're going to be talking a lot about this, and this is a key thing here. Please listen with an open mind. Because if you're a Gen X like me, right, or you're a baby boomer, and you have had authoritative, and the first time I saw gentle parenting, I said, these people have come. What is gentle about parenting? They want us not to even parent at all and just leave this children to. But then, because a parenting expert, Father Commas, open and close, I keep learning and relearning and unlearning. I started to research more on it. And it's actually becoming very, very popular in this Generation Z and Alpha era, because they're seeing that it's the one that is bringing out the best in the Generation Z and Alpha era. They're different from us. They came into technology. They have information at their fingertips. They're very smart. So if you do not buckle up and meet up with them, you're going to lose them very fast, like Auntie Toby said. It's a parenting style that is peaceful and positive. And like I said, I had my reservations initially, but now learning it and seeing the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, it really makes a lot of sense. And it's actually producing, you know, the results are much better. But it takes more time, right? So it's not for compassion, respect, and understanding and trust. And here you are going to actually be very empathetic. So the children, you know, you're managing the emotions of the children through empathy. At some of the slides, I will tell this difference. I'll kind of do the difference between gentle and authoritative so that we can understand it. So initially it's authoritative, but we'll see the difference. This is the parenting style to approach now. Whether you're Generation X or you're Gen Y or you're Gen Z, you need to learn, and you can always go and research more on this after. This is just to, you know, to give you a tip on as to what is going on. This is the parenting for the millennials and the Gen Zs. So gentle parenting, like I said, is peaceful and positive. It's a parenting style without shame, blame, or punishment. I say, Auntie Susan, no punishment. Yes, even for the authoritative. So there's punishment, there's discipline. You know, I had a television program with Pastor Tony Pojoyemade, the Covenant Christian Center. That must have been like 7 years ago, close to 8. And she found one of my books in the bookstore, Latana bookstore, and read it. And she was so excited. She had made a lot of marks and invited me to this TV program. And we're talking at some point, it was a long discussion. At some point, we were talking about punishment, discipline. In fact, some people, you know, I got some bots because initially from the clip, the beginning of the clip said, we don't talk about discipline, we talk about logical and natural consequences. So discipline can be positive. So sometimes we use it negatively, but discipline is actually positive. It's discipleship and it's meant to train. So yes, even in authoritative, there's no discipline. You can look for the clip. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. Or you can check for her Instagram handle. I think a lot of people who stayed to listen all through. I've had orders of my books from far away Canada, even from, where was this African country again? One far African country, was it Malaysia or something? I said, wow, they said, listen to that clip. Incidentally, and I'm talking about punishment now, incidentally, School of Parenting also had a training recently, like a month ago, where the topic was discipline or punishment. It's very important because your discipline style also matters a lot in the home. It's one of the faces of parenting, FAC, yes, we'll get to that. So you need to listen. You can also Google that, School of Parenting, Daystar, and we really took it for 1.5 hours. I was a co-speaker, punishment or discipline, and understand what discipline is, but I won't have the time for it. So no punishment, no shame, no blame, gentle parenting. And of course, you can see that's Kimberly Zapata. You can see that there. So now, the key points of gentle parenting, time really runs, right? When you have a lot to teach. So I would have to, if I'm too fast, I speak fast. But when I'm too fast, please put in the chat room, take it easy. You know, sometimes I have so much to say. I'm so passionate about parenting that I'm like, oh, I still have so many slides. And I speak fast too. So just let me take it easy. So key points of gentle parenting. When I go to church or when I go for seminars, I want them to really bring out what you want to do, what's the practicality of this thing, not just telling me, well, this is what gentle parenting is. So the key point is empathy. The first one is empathy. You validate your children's feelings. Be mindful of their feelings and needs. Now, authoritative parenting. I know that I have taught before that when your children get to that teenage, excuse me, teenage is not 13. They are beginning to get into puberty faster. I see some children even at 8, 9, and the teen was coined from the teen issues that came through puberty. Now, once your child enters puberty 8, 9, you will see these teen issues inverted comma open and close. When I say teenage, disabuse your mind from 13. At that time, they've gone far, not even with this Gen Z or Gen Alpha. So it's so empathy, so validate. So that time God help us.
I think she's experiencing some network issues. She would reconnect and log on.
All right, I can see feedback already coming in the chat room. While she's away, I can just we can just start engaging on that, particularly the person who says she's free range. I'd like to know what free range means, really, because like Auntie Susan, are you back?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
please
okay.
go on.
So
yes.
that's fine. But I wanted to. I was asking Alonet. I don't know. I'm sure I didn't pronounce it well. My apologies. Do you mind telling us what free range, what you mean by free range? Well, and so Auntie Susan would speak to that after now, because free range could be anything, unless, of course. And Susan, did you define that earlier, such that
Yes,
that's
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what she's alluding to.
Okay, so this is free range.
She doesn't have any children and yet, so she definitely wants to be free range.
Oh, she wants.
All right, ma'am. I yield the floor to you.
That's interesting. Okay, so sorry for about that. I said we'll take it at the stride. I have two networks, so I'll connect again. I was trying to change my network and then it brought me back on. So fantastic. And thank you. Thank God that I'll be put to take you through there. Okay, so I thought about empathy. So I was saying that I also thought that, ignore their faces, but no, now you actually validate their feelings. You look at them in the eye and say, I see that you're not having a good time. You're a bit angry, and maybe we can revisit this, or would you like to share with me? And then understanding. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Am I out again? Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So then understanding, remember that your child is still developing and may not have the same perspective as you. We make a lot of mistakes. When the children are tall, maybe taller than us, we begin to forget that, their frontal cortex is not fully developed until 25. So we begin to expect a lot from them. And it's from expectations that you get disappointed. So, you need to remember that they have different perspective. You need to understand. So for gentle parenting, you have to look at things from their perspective. Now, respect and boundaries. Model what you want your children to do. So show your child respect and model it to them. Sometimes we say, you don't respect me. And then when you're speaking with your children, you're also not speaking respectfully. When you're shouting at somebody, that's not respect. And sometimes you want to shout on your children and you don't expect them to shout back. I mean, what you're telling them is that when anybody is angry, you should shout. Parenting is so wide, right? So I just get lost. There's so many things to discuss, but I'll try to limit to. And of course, there are books and resources. We'll get to that you can always buy. And I'm also a parenting coach, so you can pay me also to learn some of those things. Yeah, partnership. In gentle parenting, you work with your child to make decisions and solve problems. So you're working alongside your child. You're not giving rules and expecting the rules to be obeyed, or you're not just saying when you don't obey this rule, it is consequences, like authoritative parenting.
That's fine. If you can hear me.
Did you lose me again? Am I out again?
No, your slides are no longer showing.
No, you're fine. I think there was an interference.
Is my slide back on?
Not yet.
Is it back on? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Let me know when it's back on so that if I need to log out and log back in. It's still not showing now. Is it showing now?
No, it's not.
Not yet.
Okay. So while I'm trying to log back, since you can still hear me, I was talking about partnership and patience. So I'll just, I'll stop share and then start to share again and see if that would work. Since I'm not logged out, so I don't want to log out myself. So I'll stop share and then see if I can share again. Interestingly, you are hearing me, but I can't even see the Zoom page. So I guess I may have to log out because I can't see the Zoom page to log out, log in, but you can hear me. So maybe that's what the problem is. So I'll just log back in. Well, meanwhile, do we have in the chat room, you can look at people, whatever we have in the chat room, so we see.
Yes, so she has described free range. Let me just read out what she said. Maybe that will, you can speak to that. Free range for me because it will be a better match for my personality, schedule, and energy levels, encouraging independence from an early stage for more sustainable, good parenting without burnout. That's why she's chosen free range. What's your take on that, Mark? It appears as if we have lost her completely. Auntie Susan.
Yeah, it looks like she's off. I'm sure
Yes, she'll join us. All right, please, let's keep the questions coming in. I think that she earmarked 1.5 hours, so we'll be out of here by 12:30. So it's important that we get all the questions, whatever is on your heart to know. It'll be a good opportunity to write off the back of what she has said, particularly because this training, this seminar is about you. This webinar is about you, helping you get better in your parenting journey. So whatever has been an issue for you, please write. That way she would attend to it. And Susan, are you back? She's not. Okay. All right. So let me just talk about, there's something that I've found to be true, and that is the fact that when we deal with children, I work with teenagers, like I said, but I think it cuts across. And it cuts across in the sense that for the children, whatever we have gone through as children ourselves, it's important that we resolve it. Because if we don't resolve it, it will in our dealings with our children. Like I said earlier, many of us grew up saying to ourselves, whatever I went through, my children will not go through. But the truth of the matter is that whatever you went through,
guys, let's just take it in the stride. That's what happens these days. So am I back on? Can you hear me? So I'll just share my slides again. Auntie Toby, fantastic. Fantastic. So I just share my slides again, and I hope that we were able to interact while I was out. That's the, okay, so please make me a host so that I can share my slide. I can share my screen. Is that done?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just share the screen again. Yeah, I remember I was talking about partnership. I said you work with your children, right, to come to get to have solutions to things. You actually, it's a parenting style that needs a lot more time. It's not that easy, but it gives results. So I'm still trying to share my slides. It's still not allowing me to, but I'm sure that I'll get around to it. And then the next thing is you need to have patience, a lot of patience. Of course, by the time I say gentle parenting, then you know that it comes with a lot of patience. So as soon as I can share the slide, I'll come back and share the slides with you. Please recheck to see that I am actually a host so that I can check. Okay, I'll try again now. I don't know for some reason, it's not giving me the share option, but I'll keep talking because of our time. So patience, and then you will see it when the slide comes. And we had talked about it that for gentle parenting, you can see me, so don't worry if my eyes are going this way because I'm just trying to see if I can share the slides. I know it's better when you have the slides, but please try and listen. For gentle parenting, we have talked about no punishment, and I'm not going to spend time on that. I'm only going to say that you can get the materials. In fact, in my very first book, I talked about the logical consequences and the natural consequences. Yes, Auntie Toby, I'm still trying to share my slides. It's still not allowing me to. Tolu, if you have the slide, you can share. If you can share on your end. Tolu Alope, if you have the slide, I wonder why it's
Okay,
not giving me that. Please share on your, yes, please try to share. So no punishment. So we are talking about discipline, you know, its consequences and logical and natural. In authoritative parenting, we allow the logical because logical, you actually decide it. But actually in gentle parenting, they're talking about just having the natural consequences, just the natural consequences, right? So, and then positive reinforcement. Because your parenting is a gentle parenting and you're parenting managing the children's emotions, you're going to get more results when you affirm them. There's a lot of positive affirmation in gentle parenting. So you're going to have to be, what do you call it? Present. You're going to have to be intentional. So when you say affirm them, it's not until they do something very big, any little thing. Oh, I love the way that you helped your sister. I love the way that you laid the bed today. It's really nice. It looks like you're improving. Oh, it was so nice the way you said hello to Auntie Toby. So because as you say that, it encourages them to do better, right? As you say that, it encourages them to do better. And then we will share slides. Don't worry, just keep listening. You'll see the slides later. And then communication. With gentle parenting, you need to communicate in a way that empathizes with their emotion. And you can see my gesticulation. It's a positive, peaceful parenting. You know, sometimes when I research those things and I see the results, I'm thanking God that, oh, thank you, God, my younger one is 25, right? Because it is a lot of intentionality. It's not, I have children whenever I have time. You're actually going to devote time to parenting. But I can tell you this, if you do, it will be a time well invested because your children will grow up and say thank you. In fact, you would have your peace of mind when you're older that you have raised children. Now, it's not just in the raising them that matters. Of course, we're going to get to other things that you're going to pray, but you'll have done your best and it actually helps. It really does help. I still can't share my slides. I hope I can before the end as we go on. So those are key points in gentle parenting. And I said the extra benefits, right, of gentle parenting will be that there's reduced anxiety. Auntie Bola, you have the slides. Auntie Toby, you have the slides also. If you can share from your end, if Tolu is finding it difficult to share, you also have the slides. If you can share from your end, that would be good so people can say it. I still don't have the share option. I don't know all this technology. See, this technology sometimes. So it reduces anxiety. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Tolu. Thank you so much. So we keep scrolling. We're in extra benefits of gentle parenting. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for that. Aha, fantastic. So the next, fantastic, that's it. So we have improved parent-child bond. You know, you actually would have invested in your relationship. In fact, one research says, wow, am I getting any results? You know, somebody who was trying the gentle parenting. It's a process. It will take time. One thing I want to say is that after we finish today, and it's almost 12, I would run. After we finish today, if you have been applying, we'll ask you what kind of parent are you. Please type on the chat box. I said this different kinds of parents. What type of parents can you identify yourself? So irrespective of the kind of parent you are, if you find that there are good things about this gentle parenting for your Gen Z and Generation Alpha children, you don't just go home and change. You go home and invite your children. You have a meeting with them. I always advise parents to have a meeting per week. And my children will know that we used to have meetings. I'm not just saying what I did not practice. We used to have meetings, right? And also have one-on-one with your children, at least 1 hour per day. Differently, if you have 3 children, that's 3 hours. You can find time. And then positive social skills, because you communicate with this child with respect, because you are being very empathetic with this child, because this child, you know, tells you exactly how they feel and they know that you are concerned, then the child actually develops, you know, social skills. They can communicate with other people. They are very comfortable, you know, communicating with other people. Yes, and then it's a relationship filled with trust. It helps the child develop a strong social skills and self-esteem. Social skills are there, you know, and it says that it can be very challenging and draining. That's one of the work of Tasha Brown. She's tried it, it worked, but she's saying it could be challenging. I didn't want to add the word draining so that people do not think, this one that is draining, but you see, this is your responsibility now. Thank you for that. I think that there's a slide before that, the gentle and authoritative, is a slide backward. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So what should I do is the next thing, tips. So we just take it as a slide stump. What should I do? I'd like to know that this is what I can begin to practice, you know, straight on, so that you have a take home. And then we'll come back to the differences between gentle and authoritative parenting. Tolu, can you push this? Okay, push the slide a bit further. Let's see if that's there. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, that's all you have. Okay, so I think there's some slides. So, okay. So I'll still keep trying from time to time. Anybody who knows about this Zoom will try see why I'm not able to share my slides. I know that has happened to some people. It's not, share should be on top and it's not showing the share because, okay, so I have a few slides before what should you do, and I'll just take it now. What I will do is that for anybody who wants a slide, after this, I usually do not share my slides with people when it's a free Zoom, but because of what is happening, I will just talk through it. Yes, I'll talk through it now. So we said that the differences between authoritative and gentle. So authoritative wants to raise capable, confident, and compassionate children. Both of them, both authoritative and gentle, but gentle is more empathetic. Authoritative can be more direct and structured because a lot of us are used to that. So the tone and language matters. It's different for gentle and authoritative. And then we also talked about emotional validation. So the authoritative, like I tell you, sometimes I teach people, don't even look at the eye roll, just say what you want to say and leave the place. But no, for gentle, you actually validate their emotions. There is very emphasis on empathy, on validation. And then the boundaries and rules. So rather than just set boundaries and then you have rules, consequences, for the gentle parenting, it's a limit setting. So you have 3 roles as a parent, right? You're a teacher, you're a coach, you're a limit setter. That's teacher and coach together. You're a limit setter, and you are a problem solver. All these are in my book. Those are 3 caps you wear as a parent. So yes, you set limits. You can learn how to set limits, and you encourage self-regulation with gentle parenting because you are empathizing with their emotions. You kind of encourage them to self-regulate. And of course, we've talked about discipline approach. I won't talk about that again. We've talked about the parent-child relationship. Yes, mutual respect. And the problem solving for gentle parenting, you actually allow the children to come up with solutions. You give them more time. So because you respect them a lot. And then you say, would you want to know, what do you think? For instance, an example is a child is not doing well in school. Authoritative, you say, I think you need a lesson teacher. And the child says, yes, you didn't even give options anyway. And the lesson teacher comes and begins to teach the child. For gentle parenting, you say, I see you're struggling with math. What do you think? How can we help this? And then the child says, oh, I don't like the teacher, or the teacher doesn't communicate well. You say, so what do you think we should do? That's gentle parenting illustration. And then the child says, maybe I'll give it a more try, but the child cannot come. If the child doesn't give the option, you could now say, or do you think we should get a lesson teacher? You see, so you allow them to problem solve more. And then the focus for authoritative is shaping behavior, while the focus on gentle is nurturing the whole child, emotions, thoughts, and actions. I said my volume 3 book talks about the trainer coach, the problem solver, and the trainer coach, problem solver, and the mid setter. So I gave illustrations and I need to run. Pardon me. So because for me, when I research, I need to know what I am talking about. So somebody has asked a question and I'll take it. Is it more likely for authoritative parenting or gentle parenting to produce timid children? I would say no, because authoritative also listens to the children. And the gentle parenting will not even produce timid children in any way, because it actually validates the children's emotions. And I'll take questions later. I just thought to emphasize that now. So, but the authoritarian parenting is the one that actually produces timid children, because you either just do it my way or no way. Now, a toddler tantrum in the store, at the time I had to take slides on toddlers. I usually would say it's the teenage years, which is from 8. That is the very difficult stage of parenting. It's the most critical phase of parenting, because the parents have to learn and understand a lot of things. But toddler tantrum, your toddler is throwing tantrum. So I want to say something, right? We are all parents. Don't be ashamed of your children. The fact that your toddler is throwing tantrum in the store does not make you a bad parent. Tell me that parents that they are toddlers will have tantrum. Now, the degree and the number of times they will have it will differ per child because of personalities. Also, parenting matters, but it's not a time to be shamed. So for gentle parenting, your toddler has tantrum in the store. If it's authoritative, you say, I've told you, you don't have tantrums in the store, and you know what the consequence is. When we get home, you face your consequence because you have discussed with the child. Consequences, discipline means you've discussed before with your child, not punishment that is arbitrary, meted in anger. You know, it doesn't even follow what the child has done, and it's just temporary. But then, for what does a gentle parent do? You stoop down to the level of the child. This is one key point you should go with. So it's been said in parenting that when you look down on a child, it's actually intimidating the child. Maybe you're still taller, so we're talking of younger children now. You should actually be eyeball to eyeball with children. So your child is maybe 4. So stoop down so that your eye can meet the child and be warm. The expression you have on your face should not be that of anger or exasperation. And say, I see that you're having a difficult time. You don't know what about the reason for the tantrum. Maybe you know, maybe the child wants a cookie and you didn't buy that cookie. And say, I see that you want this cookie. Let me give you choices, because gentle parenting gives choices. You know, in tone of language, gentle parenting will offer choices and say, would you prefer this cookie or this? Just give choices. Get something that is healthy enough. And the child calms down. The child may not calm down immediately. It's a process. But you say, I don't know, you need to calm down. Which would you prefer? And then the child makes a choice and it's better. That's gentle parenting. They don't get exasperated for gentle parenting. For instance, for a 6-year-old throwing block around the house, a gentle parent will go there and say, I see you're having fun here without annoyance. Oh, I see you're having fun here. And then you redirect. Gentle parenting redirects. You see, I said something. Gentle parenting offers choices and also redirects and uses I statements. I see you're having fun here, but you know redirection. The block is a bit too heavy to throw on the wall. Maybe we should use a softer toy. Or would you want us to build something with the blocks instead rather than throwing it out? It redirects. It's not exasperation parenting. It's not now you have done it, it has to be consequences. And I don't have time, so I can't give too much illustrations. A teenager expresses an opinion. For gentle parenting, you're not thinking his argument. You are seeing it as, I need to know. I say, oh, that's a different perspective. I didn't think of it that way. I have a different perspective to it though, but that yours is different. Maybe we should revisit it. I want to learn more about it, or sit down, let's talk more about it. It's not immediately, no, you're wrong, you know, and then you move on. So we need to move. Okay, so the tips, what next? Embrace digital parenting. You see, you're a millennial, you grew into this digital thing, so you have all the leverage technology to your advantage. Set boundaries around screen time, online safety, find online tools for monitoring and prevention. I'm a generation experience, so it's difficult to learn all these things. You are at an advantage because you also use technology well. Because I'm saying, what can you start doing from now? Be flexible and adaptable. Be willing to try new approaches, right? So the parenting style, now you have maybe an authoritarian parent or you're a permissive parent. Now you have lots about gentle parenting. It's part of your characteristics to be flexible and adaptable. So use it to your own advantage in parenting. But you know that some things you need to be firm on. Be firm on your values and family culture in a polite, empathetic tone. Always get the input of your children. Whatever parenting style, you must get the input of your children. Then embrace diversity and inclusivity. You know, you are also someone who is diverse and inclusive. And your Gen Z, Gen Alpha is diverse and inclusive. So just embrace it. Don't say, what do you know? No, don't say that. And please don't put tags on children. So don't go home and say, hey, I now know you're a Gen Z. No, nobody wants to be tagged. You just need to be wise about it. It's for you to have a knowledge of what you're dealing with and to use it well. So together appreciate and respect differences in people's cultures, perspectives, and teach your children emotional intelligence. I see this is a bit lacking, because they are very used to technology. They are with their screens. When they're on their screen, they can talk, they can chat, they have good grammar. But when it comes to physical interaction, many of them are lacking. And I'm saying this is a generalization. They don't even know how to, it becomes difficult for them to get back their voice. So you need to specifically teach your children, how to manage their emotions, how to manage other people's emotions, how to recognize people's emotions, how to enter a place and be able to read the mood in that place. They are all over the place. They're just raring to go. So you need to calm them down and teach them. Set boundaries and prioritize quality time. So, of course, you see, with gentle parenting, you just must have the time. You must be present and you must engage. Work is secondary. Be open to learning from your children. Yes. They don't say, I know it all. No, I learned from my children a lot of things, and I'm still learning from them a lot. I'm still learning from them a lot. They keep giving, and so you are not for a willingness to learn. So see things from their perspective and continue to seek for resources and prioritize self-care. The millennials are also, on the move. It just gets worse with Gen Z, then Gen Alpha, they're on the move. So they're doing, and I can say that because I have my daughters can do, my children to do that. So they have a webinar here, they are posting something there, they have to travel, then they have the deadlines, and there's a lot to do. So, but you need to learn to prioritize self-care. Take care of yourself physically and mentally. You are the model for your child. If you do not show how to, you don't look after yourself, then if you don't have it, how can you give it? You can't give it. Be conscious of your mental health, both for you and your children. And of course, embrace imperfection. No, there is no perfect parents. There is no perfect children. Things can get messy. It's okay. We move on. I mean, I've been thrown out twice today. We move on. We're still here, right? So things can get messy and nobody is perfect. Don't compare your children with the next door neighbor's children or a child in school. Parent the child you have, not the one you wish you had. You need to be present with your children. Foster a sense of community. You're good in community building, so you could have families around you who have share similar values, that your friends can meet with physically. They do a lot online. So you're looking more for physically support network. Let's celebrate milestones and everyday moments. Like I said, gentle parenting is based more on emotional validation, affirmation. It's a lot. Celebrate the small victories and everyday moments. Somebody will say, Auntie Susan, you don't want me to work. You would work, but you would have quality time for your children. And you see, when I was doing this research, I also thought to myself that, you go to work and you come back. Now, the people who are minding your children, are they using the same parenting style? So if you have to leave your children in school, check the school you take them to. If you have minders or nannies, you need to be careful to let them know the style with your child so that you don't confuse your child. And I said, trust your instincts. Of course, you know your child best. So not everything I say here may work with your child, but trust your instincts. Trust your intuition and make decisions that feel right for your family. But please, let it be based on knowledge. The problem with us is that we are just coming with what we know, what we're parented with. No, we're from a different generation. And yes, I knew I was at a speaking engagement and I was saying all this. It was a different title entirely. And the man just stood up. He was so agitated. And I was wondering, okay, it's not time for question and answer. And then when I was finished, I said, my last slide was pray, pray, pray at all times. And the man heaved a sigh of relief. I said, hey, right. That, according to him, Holy Spirit will tell you how to raise your child. And then once you pray, those will tell you and then you apply. No, God has given us a brain. So you need to learn and know your own child, and then apply the right parenting style for your child within the general concept of the best parenting style, and then pray. So do your bits like you're not praying and pray like you're not doing. Pray without ceasing. That helps a lot. And they say love conquers all. I'm already rounding up. Love conquers all. So children have their love languages, right? Just like we first had it when we got married. But children have their love languages. But you don't call your child and say, come, what is your love language? Because when all else fails, what will help you is picking the child's primary love language, right? And then maybe the second one. So what do? You should, all your children need to be spoken, all these languages. So you speak all. But then maybe over a period of a month, you can speak first one and see your reaction of your child. Do they blossom more? Are they more excited? You know, and then you rate it maybe from number 1 to 10. And then the following week or month, you try another one. So that you now, at the end of the day, you see the one where they score the most. Don't just assume that it's quality gifts, but then you would have to speak all to them. And then once you know their primary love language, speak that one more. And the secondary one, the one after it. Because it helps. When all of a sudden you find yourself fighting with your child, just relax, settle down, and begin to speak the love language. And of course, where you're having meetings with your children, you can actually discuss with them. One likes the gifts, and it doesn't have to be big gifts. One likes validation, affirmation. Another one's quality time. Speak their languages. And then I know that sometimes we have special needs children. This is not a webinar to tell you how to train them. It was so nice. When there was a time, I teach children in distal parenting too, and there was a time we had a special needs that was on wheelchair, and anytime the boy sees his father coming, he was completely paralyzed, just the head. He would droop. He would just smile. There's a big smile. I mean, we looked after the child well, but it showed that the parent was showing love. So tune into your child's individuality. And in conclusion, next slide. Next slide. In conclusion, we're saying that, yes, the next slide. We're saying that parenting is complex and challenging. I used to wonder that people who said they don't want children were selfish some time ago. That time it used to be Oyibo, not, during my time, the next thing after you marry is to have your child. If you even read my new book, but I got married end of November. By December, people were looking at my stomach. Can you imagine that? And my husband was not even working in town. So and it was the normal thing, but it's changed now. The millennials have changed all that. So one of the things I learned about millennials is also that they defer things, So their timing, I just didn't put that. Now they prefer they marry later, they just do things later because they want to finish with some other things. So, but you have your unique approach. What type of parent are you? What type do you want to be? There are no perfect children and there are no perfect parents. Keep learning, applying, and getting better. That you logged on to this, that you came on this, shows that you're one of the very few parents who realize that God has given to us this precious gift. And what he expects from us is to raise them as godly children. And it's not just buying them things. It's not just sending them to school. It's applying ourselves and ensuring that they become the best, version of themselves that they need to be for the period they're at home with you. And if you do it well, you will not lose communication. Nothing is perfect. There'll be times that things may not go the way you want it to go, but still, it would be better. So thank you so much. I want to check the chat room. I hope I can see chat room here. And then to see if we have questions. Yes. So yes, I used to think that there's people who said they don't want children were selfish, but they are not selfish. Thank you for reminding me that thought. I think I forgot it. Because they know that it takes responsibility. It takes intentionality. It's more than just having enough money. Because they don't want to bring children into this world and they just leave them free range, like we said, or permissive, right? So yes, I respect them now. So once you decide, I remember that my second daughter was saying when she got married, she said, Mommy, I'm getting married, I'm not having children, I'm taking 3 years. And me, I wanted to be a grandmother. I'm like, hey, but I respect her for that. They wanted some things in place. They wanted to, get to know themselves well. They wanted to put some things in place. She wanted to be emotionally ready. And 3 years down the line, she has the daughter, and I can see how she enjoys. At some point here, I'll tell her to bring her daughter so we can enjoy her. We can wave to her if she's not sleeping. I see how she enjoys the daughter. She's ready for it. Many of us went into parenting. You read my book, before it was just automatic, right? Some people even got pregnant before getting married. So they didn't even have that time for themselves. So Auntie Toby, please just 5 minutes because of our time so that you can talk. I know that you have something to say. And meanwhile,
I can see.
Okay.
Okay. I can see that my network is super unstable. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay. Yes, we can hear you now. Loud and clear now, yes. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. So whilst people write their questions, yes, whilst people write their questions, thank you so much. You breathe for people to take all of this information in, such that the next webinar you're having, maybe they would have, tried out a few of the things that you have talked about, and they would have questions, to ask. But I wanted to speak to your slide. Remember that I said I was going to speak to your slide, and I'm on the one about the differences between the millennials and Gen Zs. And I highlighted the fact that you talked about communication style. You said millennials prefer more extensive and detailed interaction, whilst Gen Zs prefer visual and concise communication. That is a potential trouble spot, because the teenagers around me don't like a lot of talking. Meanwhile, we must explain, this is why, this is what we do. They're like, give me the short version. So please, for us, remember, know the differences. We like conversations, but they don't. And so you must think about how to, if you must communicate that, because these are trouble spots. You fight every day because you want to talk and they are not interested. They know, tell me what is wrong. Give me the information and I'll process it. But don't hammer on sitting down and talking, particularly since for them, as a matter of fact, and Susan will know that, some of the teenagers that I work with, I tell them all the time, we're available to speak with you. So I think that this is the problem, because, you want to sit down and talk, but they feel, I want to speak with my colleagues. Meanwhile, what do they know? What do peers do? We probably would be able to guide them better, but they feel more comfortable, maybe because they will cut out all of the verbosity that we would put in. So that's a lesson to take home, the fact that our communication styles generationally are different. It doesn't make anybody bad, it's just the way it is. So please, let's put our thoughts together clearly, so that by the time, they ask the questions and they get the feedback, because they need the feedback. They need our feedback. It's just that the way in which it's coming, it seems a bit too much for them. And that's why they want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But please, let's understand, think through communication. This is what it is. All right, so can I go on?
Yes, go on for a few minutes, yes.
A few minutes. All right. So I was talking about the parenting styles. I had alluded to it earlier. When you talked about the care quotient, now because they are younger, we're taking care of them. But by the time we flip it, and probably that's another incentive for us to understand why it's important for us to connect at this point. Because at that end, because you'll be on the receiving end, you would want them to connect with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I wasn't sure because something happened with it. So that's another reason why we can give it what it takes to try to connect with them, to try to understand what the issues are, so that we will get these conversations going. You were talking about people who say that their children are their best friends. And many times when you ask the children, they don't feel the same way.
Yeah,
it must happen both ways. If you feel that you are their best friend, they must feel the same way. Because if you don't, it's a reality check. And because I don't know whether it's because I work with them, but these guys actually tell you to your face, I'm sorry, you're not my best friend. They're very vocal. They will tell you. And so it's important that we keep those conversations happening. The family meetings you talked about are very important, because that's where you will hear truth and there's no judgment in there. When you talked about free range, I penned a few things about the free range. And my challenge with free range is, if you have done your homework with values, if you have done your homework with knowing what we do as a family, who we are, and all of that, then you can let your children be independent. But if you don't have those things in check,
Hello.
freedom, yes, that freedom might be an issue because you don't want them taking steps that are not good. My 5 minutes is almost up. I'll just tell you a quick story about something that happened to someone I'm very close to. All right, so the teenagers are writing exams, and this person just decided, since I cannot write exams with my child, I think I need to be praying. And so she would fast and pray on days that her child was writing exams. And she was praying with a group of people. Sometime last week, they called her and said to her that they had a situation in school. Her child had just attempted suicide. Now, this is a child where you could never have seen it. You could never have. And so that buttresses your point about praying, because you don't know what is coming. You don't know. These teenagers have a lot of negative thoughts coming through their minds 24/7. They need to process it, because if they don't process it, they will act on it. I saw the teenager in question the other day, and you know what happened? He could not remember what prompted him to do what he did. I said, give me the thoughts. How did you get to that point? And he said, I can't put my finger on it. And so that just told me, those that we heard about somebody who took an Uber to the Third Mainland Bridge and climbed. That's what happened. The devil is out. He's roaming, and he's really looking for these guys. And because of their impressionable age, they are targets. And that's the reason why we must connect with them at this point. Because if we don't, God forbid that the things that you could have intercepted, they will turn out to be the things for which they would lose their lives. And God forbid that, in Jesus' name. And Susan, let me hand it over to you, please. 3 minutes, fantastic. I can see. Thank you.
It looks like I have lost Tolu. Tolu is no longer here, is she? I wanted her to still share my slides. I still want to show something. Do you have the slide?
I think she is.
Is she there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please share the slide. There's a few pages on the slides just as we're rounding up. Thank you very much, Auntie Toby. And thank you. I saw in the chat room that somebody said, thank you for talking about that communication. So I must have said it very fast. It's good that you highlighted it. So they prefer concise information while I wait for Tolu to share the slides. And somebody said, when is free range to free range? So I, as a person, would not even advocate for free range in any way. Because the authoritative and the gentle parenting. So Tolu, are you sharing the slides already? Please go to the published books.
Yes, she is. The slides are up.
Okay, please go to the published books. So that's the next one. After we can't do the bonus, we can't do the Faces of Parenting. We don't have time. But good enough, you have books. So these are resources. I have those books. The Let's Talk, A Guide for Teenage Parenting. Don't think teen. Think even like Auntie Toby, who knows that she would marry someday and have children, should be reading the book if she has not read it. And then from there, this book was well commended. It's a small book, and I wrote it since 2014. But even today, when I opened it, it's a small. When I opened it, I'm like, wow, there's a lot in this book. So even the authoritative, the parenting style, the logical consequences, they're all here, and it's not too big to read. It's quite interesting. And then after this, people said, oh, but I've made the mistake already. I've lost communication with my children. They're not speaking with me. Some of them have addiction. And so I wrote this. Maybe you can see it. So it's gone all wrong. Is it too late? It's there on your screen. And that was to answer the questions of people. And it's in 3 volumes, volume 1, 2, and 3. They are all different topics, but they have the same back copy. But then they have different topics. So the first one will be the first 3 topics. Volume 2 will be the next 3. Volume 3. They are standalone books, but I say it's good for everybody's library. I still look at them. In fact, yesterday again when I was reading, I said, wow, this book is really good. All the back talk back. and I'm still selling them for very cheap prices, just old prices. So the green book is just a very few copies left. It's still going for 1,005. And then the volume 1, 2, 3 is 2,500 each. So the 3 is 7,500. The busy parenting is gone, it's sold out. And if you are buying, because you attended this meeting, if you are buying today, you can get the 3 volumes, volume 1, 2, 3. You can say, I attended your meeting, I have your names. You can get it for 7,175. If you're buying the 4 rather than 9,000, you get it for 8,000. But like I said, the green book is very limited. But the one, there's another one that I am so excited about, my parenting manual. So when I go to speaking engagements, because I keep learning and relearning. So I teach on some things and somebody will come back and say, is this in your book? And then I'll say, yeah, in a way, it's in this book. Some of it is in that book. But I wanted to write one that would start from the day you have your child till when they are off you. And I was able to find time when I traveled to write this book. I wish that I had this kind of book when I got married, even before I started having my children. So it takes you from the phases. So there are phases, we couldn't do the bonus slide because of time. Phases, PHACES, the commander, the coach, the counselor, the consultant. Interesting. These are things I learned and I was excited. It taught me. Normally we are commanders when we have our children and we carry the commanding stage until they are 18, 19. Big problem we begin to have in parenting. And then we have the faces, which is my coinage, the face of the person, pronounced the same way, FACES. So what we discussed today is part of the faces, the parenting style, the temperament of the child position, the firstborn syndrome, middle child syndrome, lastborn, only child, only boy, and then we have the environment, we have discipline style, we have special needs. It's there. And then it gives you illustrations, it gives you, it's very all-encompassing. And then it takes you to when your children are going off college, what do you do? It takes you to empty nest syndrome. What do you do with yourself? And then aging gracefully. So what do you do? I'm in that space where I'm aging, I'm just 35. You see that I said, I don't, sometimes I remember my age and I'm like scared, wow, I'm this old. I really don't feel it. So aging gracefully. So it's a book to look out for. And I say that for those who attended this webinar, if you pre-order the book, I'll let you know. If you want the book, you get a 10% discount. All right, you get a 10% discount straight on. And I think everybody should look for this book. Give it as gifts. People who are married, Auntie Toby should get it because she's going to get married, but aside that, she relates with teenagers. So whether you're a guardian, whether you're a teacher, whatever, this book is one you should get, whatever cost it comes to. And then Tolu, the next slide, please. So if you want to communicate with me, that's it there. My email is parentwithsusan@gmail.com. Many of you know already. And then my Instagram is parentwithsusan. Sorry, I'm not a social person, so I just try. In fact, my older daughter just helps me. Mommy, you can do this. And I'm glad she's doing that. I'm a Gen X person because I spend so much time just to do one post that should have taken 30 minutes. But yes, you get some nuggets there. There's some things I've posted a long time and it's still there. And of course, my business WhatsApp, if you want, I'm a parenting coach. So I do one-on-one coaching with parents, with children. Sometimes you can't just communicate with your children anymore and you need a coach. We should ask for coaches. Even when my children were growing up, they had other aunties that they were very close to. You can't do it all as a parent. Your children will not tell you everything. I've had to coach children, and then we get them to a place where they begin to speak now. They're more open to speaking with their children. And of course, visit the website. You have a lot of goodies from the website. I'm still, I'm trying to rebrand it, parentingwithsusan.com. And I said, next slide, Tolu. I also said that people, I said some people, the people who post the first time, the people who register early will get free. I cannot leave this without telling them, we get a free time with me. So my 1 hour old price is 20,000. And there was a lady who, she registered, I don't even know who she is, but she registered. Please just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I will just be a minute because I want to mention their names here so that you can see the lady. She is entitled to 1 hour, free 1 hour with me. Whatever she wants, she would get. If she has a topic she wants us to talk about, then she will get that topic. I hope you can still hear me. Am I audible? Everybody? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
we can hear you. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
Tolu, please put it on the last slide. Please put your, you can, okay, well, because I want to talk about Awesome Home. So Elizabeth Imbanefo, I don't know if she's here. I was praying that she did not just register, that she would attend this meeting. Her email is rightmaybe@gmail.com. You have a 1 hour free session. If you attended, if you don't attend, I'm sorry. And then you have an extra 10% slash on any of the books that you order. Then the other people are Okwayemi Aremu, you know, Okwebafemi@yahoo.com. You have a 30 minutes free session and an extra 5% slash on the book. Fantastic. And then we have Rachel Origimi. You also have 30 minutes free session. You can decide it's a Q&A. You could write all your questions, or you could say, Auntie Susan, these are my children. What do you think I should know? And an extra 5% cut on the books. And then the fourth one, well, she already has my time, is Toluwalope Tayo. And I would like her to, so I said, create an awesome home. Toluwalope Tayo, you also have, 15 minutes. I know you have my time already. I was like 2 months with you early in Ghana. So please, if Tialua is there, let her wave to us, because we're rounding up, we're going, it's 12:36. Let Tialua. And then Ronke Oniyelu, you also have 15 minutes, whichever way you want it, and then another 5% slash on the book. So Elizabeth Mbandefo, if she's here, Okwayemi Aremu, Rachel Origimi, Toluwalope Tayo, and Ronke Oniyelu. And thank you so much for registering. Thank you for spending. Can you still hear me? I'm not sure if I'm still here.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Fantastic. Thank you for spending. Oh, she's sleeping. And that's my granddaughter. For those of you that can see her, she's sleeping. I thought I would hear her speak. And that's my daughter too, my younger daughter. Wow, thank you, Tolu. Even with her daughter, you see what she was doing? And she was still sharing slides. That's how I'm blessed too. Have I told you that I have the most wonderful children? Bragging rights, right? They are doing so well. In fact, you know, I never had to look for a job for any of them. When you parent right, you do what you can and pray. The children will surpass your expectation. That's what happened. Sometimes I look at them and I wonder, Teniola Tayo too is here. She was here at some point. They are doing amazing things. Millennial Tayo is here also. Ayolua, the second one, I think he's gone to church somewhere. Amazing things. And I'm like, did I teach you? And they will say, well, you know, when we're growing up and all that, of course, I'm not a perfect parent. If you sit down with them, they'll also tell you some things that I didn't get, but I knew that I really wanted to. And parenting is both. I don't know if there was any male in the session. Did we have any male? If we had any male, please let's know your name. For the fact that you're a male, you see, it's usually the mothers. But parenting, yes, similar entire, yes, you're a male. There's a gift from me. Fantastic.
My husband joined too.
I'm here. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Joy Atagame, right? Fantastic. I would give you a free book each for joining. Your husband. Okay, fantastic. I'll give you a free book each. Just send me a chat. Okay. You saw my number. You can even check my number, my chat, my number from Instagram. Parent with Susan is my Instagram handle. Or you can send me an inbox. The men deserve a book each. Parenting is both male and female. Together, we put hands together. You agree together with discipline approach. Stop allowing parents, putting one parent against another parent. The man is doing authoritarian, the woman is doing authoritative, and this one is doing free range. And then free range, like I was trying to say at that time, I wouldn't advise it because with authoritative and gentle, you keep giving them, you know, you let them. So responsibilities come with choices and come with consequences, right? So as they grow, you are releasing them freedom, but don't give them that freedom for when they are very small. Anything can go wrong with that free range. When they're too small to handle it, no. When they begin to understand things, teach them yourself, your own values, teach them your own faith. They will query it at some point, everything, your faith, your value, your morals, whatever, but it is natural. Once you begin to know that it's natural, that's why parenting is learned, then you will not fight it. You would engage with them. You would understand because they need to come to their own. They're individuating. They're saying, this is a person, you know, as they're getting to that adulthood, I need to know. It's not just what mommy or daddy says. Thank you so much for this time. Do we have any question in the chat room? Is there any question? It looks like there's no question.
Yes.
Then we have to
Where can we get the books from?
Okay, so you need to send me a chat on my WhatsApp or a direct message on Instagram on any, and then we can chat and we'll find out where you are. You're in Lagos, there's a pickup point at Ogudu, which is central. I mean, depending on where you live, and we can always, there's delivery. I know that people have ordered from Ghana. Fortunately, I have some in Ghana, Accra. I've sent book to Canada. Somebody in Canada ordered. I didn't have to send it. She had somebody who could pick it up. So I have some of those books in bookstores. But I think I have some in Latana. I don't know how many copies are left. I'm sorry, I've not been following up. And I had some books in ShopRite, Ikeja. I don't know how many books are there, but the best thing is because you need to tell me so that you can get your discount. Because if you go to the bookstore, their prices are not my prices. They sell much higher. So just send me a chat and then we would connect from that. And I can send the books to you, whichever way you want it to be sent. Send the
Are they
books to
still
you. Any other
available on
question?
Amazon?
So the soft copy, thank you for saying that. The soft copies are available still on Amazon. They were actually on Okada books, but Okada folded. I didn't even get my money. So I don't have any Nigerian platform, but on Amazon, you get the soft copy, not hard copy. So you can download, and at very small price. I didn't even change the price. So yes, that is true. For those of you, and the Canada, I did it from Canada, and I already said thank you. Well done. Your early money. I hope it was worth it. Please put in the chat room, was this worth your time? Because we keep learning and keep interacting together. And I know that the first time I saw gentle parenting, I was wondering what is this? Until I started researching and I found that, in fact, if I had used gentle parenting more on my Gen Z, I think would have had less issues. And it's here. But I was still doing authoritative, but both authoritative would also not bring up timid children because they're supposed to be involved. Is it permissive that we bring up timid children or the authoritarian? So yes, we keep learning. Thank you so much. I hope it's been worth your while. Please put in the chat room, was it worth your while? Was it important? And thank you so much for this time. Any other question, Tolu?
Yeah, I have a question, Ma.
Tolu?
This is for Lukemi.
Okay, for Lukemi, yes,
All right.
yes.
All right. If you want to know about your temperament, there's this other checklist that you can actually go through and really check what the temperament is. For somebody to really get the type of parenting, can somebody get such thing to be sure of which parenting you are actually using?
So I actually added some what do you call it, self-assessment tools in my parenting manual, because
Okay.
I really found out that wow, some people may not even know what they are doing. It may be a blend or a mix of so many. So I put self-assessment tool, but thank God for AI. I sent to my daughter only yesterday the kind of conversation I was having with AI. So yes, you find my parenting manual, but you can actually chat with AI. The AI was answering me. I said, and then we had to get to, but you don't have a soul. He said, yes, I don't have a soul. I can't even imagine the Gen Alpha, how they would understand where we were coming from. Because you can wake up and ask AI for anything. In fact, he gave me a wrong answer and he said, oh, I'm sorry, and I can make mistakes. That was interesting. I wanted to share with you. And then he made another mistake. 2 mistakes in 1 hour. I said, oh, I'm having a bad morning, And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. He said, oh, well, I don't have legs. I said, you don't have legs. I'm pulling you. I said, but I know you don't have. He said, yes. So yes, you can, what am I saying? AI. You can actually say, and you can Google, trying your parenting, what type of, to give you assessment tools on parenting types and styles. There are many, just like you can check your personality traits, the kind of person you are, you can also check your parenting assessment. But generally, I just give you one line. Authoritarian, if you are the one that says, this is my way or no way, you do it, I punish you. Authoritative, you still have high expectation, but then consequences are there at any time. You don't look at eyes, right? Permissive, it's noted. Yeah, neither here nor there. Uninvolved, you are gone to the office, you come back at 10 p.m., they are sleeping. The husband has gone, he comes back at 11 a.m. Nobody, you don't even know what is happening, right? You just put food in the house and all that. And we talked about gentle parenting. But yes, if you still want to know more, just chat with me. I don't charge too much, right? We can have a full session to discuss it and see how you can be better. Yes, and my number has been posted, fantastic, so that you can chat with me. The link, the Amazon link, if you go to Amazon and you type Susan Tayo, just my name, SUSANTAYO, it will bring out all the books. So that's the easiest way because I didn't plan for it. So I don't have it here and I don't want internet to take me away. So just go to Amazon, type Susan Tayo, Susantayo. Oh, fantastic. I have the link there. Wow. I do have fantastic people. My daughter. Wow. My children. You see? Proud moment. So I thank God that I can stand here and speak with you because what if I had done all this and I cannot even be proud of my children? They have all sorts of things to do. You can see one sleeping with her daughter. My older daughter has lessons. You know, millennial, now you're always having one thing or the other. So I'm saying with Auntie Toby, there's one thing or the other happening, you know, but to take time to be here. So I really say thank you. So the link is on the chat, in the chat room. Just click that link and you can order. I think I should even go and change the prices, but yeah, but you will get it at the old prices. Any other question? And I'm so amazed you're with me. We are with us 12:45. Auntie Toby, and the great people. Auntie Toby, please unmute yourself. And the great people, you can unmute yourself. Let's clap. Well done, well done. And I can see some thank yous.
You saw me clapping already. Thank you so much, everyone.
I can see some thank yous in the chat room. Thank you so much. It's been, thank you, that it's been worth it. And yes, when we have another webinar, we would make sure to keep your.
Let you know. Yeah.
Sometimes our webinars are free, sometimes they are paid. But when it is paid, it's small money, chinkini money. Don't run away because of that. Because we had up to 45 or so that registered. And I'm not sure we're up to 20 here, if I have the right figure. But that's what happens a lot. But
thank God we had 26 at the highest.
Fantastic. It's a fantastic number because that's more than half, just about half. Thank God. But you see, when you pay for something, you want to get there. So sometimes when I do paid webinar, I tell you, if you can't even attend, I will send you the Zoom recording and the slides and all that. Thank you so much. God bless you. My number has been shared. The Amazon link has been shared. Auntie Toby is also there. Auntie Toby, share your number just in case people want to reach you. I mean, you work with children too. And she's a fantastic person doing a lot of things. And hoping to hear from you very soon. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Aloniette. Thank you so much for, thank you, Tolu. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you for everybody. I wish I could even see. Let me see if I can see everybody. I've been using the smaller view. I think, let me see the gallery view so I can see people who are still on here.
Recognize me?
Let me see who is talking now. Hey, look at me. Yes, yes. Thank you. I can recognize you. Thank you, Ronke. So quickly, so I recognize you. I know that I know some names. Auntie Jumoke, Rachel, Auntie
Oh, my own.
If you can show your face, fantastic. We just wave. Brother Shola, wow. All of my Mayo, Watesi Achipong. Tolu, thank you. Show your face. You can't. Millennial, I mean, so many faces.
I'm not sure you will remember me. But this is the way you always smile. I just love your smile.
Oh, so you still remember. Nice. Thank you.
You might not remember, but we met in Sparklight Estate. I'm the convener of Mother Pride and Development Initiative.
Oh, yes. This morning, okay, yes. I just know you as Mother's Pride. Thank you for joining me. Sister Tessie, well done. I see your face there. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for what you do.
Joy Atagame, that was FM. You know, I used to do these perfumes. I still sell perfumes now. And
you told me about it. You told me about it
because I never sell, you know. I started working as a big chartered accountant, so I could dictate what I wanted, but that was an exciting time. And I said, oh, this Auntie Joy still remembers me. Sister Taiwo, fantastic. Thank you for here. Sister Fola, she's even supposed to be at a party and she's still there. And somebody is just entering the meeting room. Oh, wow. We are done already. This is 12:48. Margaret Ogumodede, fantastic. Nii Sanusi, bless you. Please, those of you that have earned the extra time with me coaching, it is worth a lot, please. So please make use of it. If it's your children you want me to coach, that is good. You know, they say sometimes the prophet is not accepted in his own country, but yes, this is something that people pay a lot for. So make use of it. If you don't make use of it, it's my own game. Thank you. Thank you. I saw you briefly there because you won my time too. You're off now. Thank you. Gift Aitokwehe. Thank you for still logging on. I don't know, maybe we were taken out and you came back on, but we're done. And we're just saying, waving our bye-byes. All right. Thank you, everybody. Let me release it. It's 12:50. Thank you so much, Patience Bassi. If I've not called your name, I think I've called all the names I can see on the screen. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And hoping that next time we'll put it out there, you'll be ready to join in again if you have gained something here. Auntie Toby, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Auntie Susan.
Yes. Thank you. Now, Mayowa Wealth, I think it's somebody I know too. I can't remember, but I think it's somebody I know. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Have a wonderful
Bye,
week.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Auntie Tessie, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Auntie Tessie, for look at me.